I don't know what's going on anymore. What's going on here, guys? Okay, there's our pole sitter. Campbell Logan looks like they are entirely ready. It looks like we've got all of the 10 starters who qualified on the grid, which makes me think that Didak and Andrew probably forgot they had a race. We are primed up for turn 1. This is going to be very exciting. As the Burger King car blips out of existence and back into it, hands on hips. What's going on here, guys? Yeah, that's definitely a reference to Game Grumps. Oh, hey, look who showed up. Didak and Andrew are now at the back of the race. The only one that we're missing is Andrew O'Brien, apparently, who just... Oh, green flag! Green flag, green flag! Campbell Logan getting a good start out of the front here. And we are going to see what happens as we head into turn 1. It looks so far like we're having a pretty clean start as we go back through. Turn 1 is always the exciting one, as the Burger King car continues to, use portals to get around the track, which feels like cheating. So as they head into turn 4, it looks like we're still having a lot of good luck. Looks like everybody's staying clean, which is good. And Campbell Logan, unsurprisingly, as the pole sitter, has taken the lead. And Jonathan back here, keeping up the what looks like a second pack forming with Welton Pedroso and Lowell Nichols right after them. So let's see if we can start to see some packs forming here. Right now, we've basically just got one giant pack that extends out from Welton, because it looks like Welton is now 3/4 of a second behind Campbell Logan, almost a second now. And so I'm pretty sure Campbell's going to probably take off here, and we'll just have to see if they have a steady race, because I remember during qualifying they had a couple of small mistakes. But right now, Welton bringing the fight back to Campbell, actually, as they go through turn 1. And this is a 15-lap race, so we are on the second lap. They're very short laps as we head through turns 2, 3, and now 4. They're all very close to each other. And what have we got going on back here? Everybody's still bunched up. We're just waiting for an accident to happen, really. STP versus Marlborough, because we've got Maxwell versus Ricardo, I believe. Yep, that's looking pretty good. So as we go back out to Campbell in the front, they are continuing to hold a pretty decent lead, but it seems like the number 2 car, driven by Welton here, is getting further into the turns before hitting the brakes. So on the turns, it looks like they're catching up a lot, but then Campbell appears to be getting on the gas a little bit better because he's drawing distance between them in the straight. But that is a wide line there. Well, not too bad, though. As they come into the main straight and they're headed back towards turn 1. That is 2 laps down. We are on lap 3 now. This is a quick moving race, my friends. Oh, as we've got Welton. Welton's trying to get close. Let's try and get the camera zoomed out just a little bit. I think it's a little bit close. Because we've got a train going on here. Welton did set the lap record for the race on that last lap. So he is definitely keeping pace with Campbell at the moment. And we're just going to have to see if that sticks. We've also got a fight going for third place. Clearly, Lowell and Jonathan are having a bit of a fight back here as they head through turn 6 towards turn 7. And we're going to have to see if anything happens here. If there's anything I can say about Scuba, it's that passing is not that easy. That's one of the reasons why it's a time trial track, in my opinion, is passing opportunities are kind of few and far between. Though it looks like Jonathan's going to try and take advantage. Let's ride along here with Jonathan as he heads into turn 8 and kind of keeping his distance, trying to be careful not to get too close. Ooh, that's some close stuff, though. It looks like he's heading up the inside here as we go into turn 1, and he has cleared past Lowell and has taken third place. But Lowell is not to be denied, is now alongside him as they head through turns 2 and 3, and now heading down to turn 4. It looks like Jonathan is now holding on to that place. So I think he's got that for now. And it looks like Welton is now losing a little bit of time to Campbell, which is interesting because it says he set the lap record again last lap. So you'd think if he did that a couple laps in a row that would mean you're winning, right? Isn't that the only thing that makes sense at that point? Okay, we've got Jonathan being closely followed by Lowell Nichols, and then we've also got a fight for 5th place. Paul being followed closely by Matt, As we go on board with Matt for a second here, he is right up Paul's tailpipe here, if you will. And we'll have to see. Oh, it looks like, a little bit of a fight up there for third place again, as Lowell is now getting very close. Is that a bump? Do I see a bump? Do I see a bump on the back of Jonathan's car? As we do a quick chase cam, yeah, somebody has been bumped into just a little bit. I am curious, so we're going to go back real quick and see if we can find the source of the bump. Well, it must have happened quite some time ago because oh, there it was right there. I was watching when it happened and I just didn't notice. Boop. Little bit of a love tap. I think I was looking at, I was switching camera angles, I think is why I missed it. So that is where that happened for anybody who was curious. Anyway, back to modern times as we watch Jonathan going into turn 7, following behind Welton and Campbell, who are still fighting over first place. Welton is having a hard time making the pass out of this. It looks like Welton is a little bit slower on the last lap, but traditionally he's been a little bit faster on this particular circuit. So I am going to have to see if we are going to see a passer before too long. TV2, and here we have Welton trying to sneak up on Campbell to see if he can get past. Can he do it? Nobody knows. Lowell's actually a little bit closer back on Jonathan. So we've got a fight for first and a fight for third going on as, heading through on lap 6, heading down to turn 4. We have got a close one here as Lowell tries to get some sort of advantage on Jonathan again. Jonathan made the pass, I believe, on lap 3 and has not really looked back since then. There have been a few times when they've been close, but it feels like Jonathan's been able to pull away pretty much every single time. So we go back to Welton, who is hot on the heels of Campbell, but hasn't really made any appreciable ground. Their last lap times were pretty much identical. And it's going to be interesting to see where Welton is going to go about trying to gain time, because the question kind of becomes, where are you going to pass? You've got to get yourself going pretty good out of a corner so that you can get a lot more speed on the straight so you can pass either on the straight or going into the next turn. And right now you look at Campbell up here ahead of Welton, and it just, when they're on the straights together, they seem to be going roughly the same speed. And I that's kind of the beginning and the end of it. Like, it's going to be hard to have a pass with that. But Lowell, on the other hand, Lowell goes a little deeper into these turns than Jonathan does. And he's, is he going to try to make the pass on the outside here? That's getting a little bit risky, don't you think? Let's see what's going to happen. Very, very close on the tail here. Coming in on the inside of turn 6. Not able to complete the pass there. Coming up on the tail in turn 7. Let's see if they can maybe pull something off as they head back out onto the straight between 7 and 8. Got a little bit of grass there. Oh, saves it. Saves it. Lowell, that was close. That was close. But still a decent gap. Still only 0.3 seconds behind Jonathan on this. So that is good news for Lowell anyway. And for racing fans everywhere. It looks like we've got a really close race here too as well for 7th, where Dydick is right behind Maxwell. And we're going to see if we can get a pass the STP car here as Dydick is trying to make a move, head into the inside here, and looks like they're going to be successful at this. Yeah, there you go. There's a pass for you. Who doesn't like watching a pass? And we'll have to see if that's going to reverse itself at all. It doesn't look like it is from here. Dydick appears to be the faster there. So if we go back to Lowell, who has lost a little bit of time to Jonathan. Let's see if he can close that gap up again. I think he's getting a little bit, might be a little skittish about this corner. He went off last time here, but nope, he's taking the full track still. Needs to. That's where you need to get your speed together, is on this particular section. Doesn't look like he's going to try and take advantage of this turn 8, passing on turn 8. Probably carried a little bit too much speed into there. No, that's a good line. Can he get together this straight line speed here to catch him on the front straight, which is one of the few straights that exist on this entire circuit? Doesn't look like it. And that's really where the problems come in. Welton's having the exact same problem. Welton just set another 0.7 seconds faster time than Campbell, and yet can't pass. Passing feels a little bit inhibited on this particular track. I don't know where the passing zone is is supposed to be. This may be a famous track, but that doesn't mean that it's a good track to race on, unfortunately. Let's see what else we've got. We've had some passes further back in the pack, which has been nice to see. But our big contenders up here is we're in the last part of lap 9. They're not really seeing a lot of progress. Like, I'm not sure where the place is supposed to be to pass. That has been the unfortunate thing about this race so far, is I feel like Welton's probably faster than Campbell, just because he's run faster lap times than him several times. You know, it kind of gives you that impression. And I don't know if he lacks consistency or if he just can't find a place to pass. It's one of the two. So we're going to have to see what happens here. Welton's going to have to use a little bit of strategy to try to find a good place. Like, that was turns 2 and 3 heading into 4 here. There's really no place to pass there. This can be a good place heading into turn 5. You can sometimes get on the inside here. Not likely on this particular lap, though. 6 is not so great. 7, I don't think, is a good place to pass. If you can do 7 well enough, you might be able to pass on the straight between this turn 7 and turn 8, which is coming up. But I don't think that's nearly enough speed on that. We're going to see Lowell's going to try to pull the same trick. And they look like they are closing that gap up just a little bit, but not enough. By the end of the straight, they are not close enough, and this is a long, difficult right-hander. It's difficult to pass on the outside or the inside of that. It's just not simple. You've got to hold your speed and hope you can pass here, because this is where Jonathan did pass early on in this race. So it is possible. The question is, can Lowell or Welton do it? And I'm beginning to think the answer might be no, as we're 11 laps into this race. There's only 4 laps left. That's about 4 minutes of racing. We're just going to have to see. It looks like Red Bull's going to win the day today. Going to win the day today. And we've got Didick pulling up on another victim. Let's see if Didick can make another pass. They passed Maxwell earlier for position, as Jonathan and Campbell are still holding their positions, so no need to go back there just yet. But Didick's the one who's been doing the passing today, so maybe he can show us where it is the passes need to happen as we head into 7. Takes a wide line at late apex to try to get some speed onto this straight, and that might be a working strategy, as he is definitely pulling up to Brian, but not really closing it enough. If he can hold the speed, trying to hold the speed through turn 8, trying another late apex, it looks like. You go wide at first, and then you kind of hit the inside part of the track late. Really using the whole track there. Can he make the pass into turn 1? Perhaps. Here we go. Nope, very close, but not quite. We probably needed a different angle on that one, too. As they're now headed through turns 2, 3, and 4. Ricardo apparently has gone off track, but I haven't really been following their stuff. So here they head into 4, again taking a wide line at first and trying to pull it in close to see if they can get some speed into 5, 6, and 7, which again is a good strategy. But we're going to have to see if Didick can make this work. Didick's already had a pass, so maybe he can work another one. But yeah, both Lowell and Welton, which are the fights for first and third. Oh, here is Didick going to pull it off this time as we head into the back straight up towards turn 8. I don't think he's pulling enough competitive. Is he? Is he going to try and peek out? Or are we just going to hold this through turn 8 and see if we can pass going into turn 1? As we head into lap 13 here, Didick is running out of time, but it could still happen here. Is he's kind of cheating to the outside? Is he going to try wide line to tight line and pass on the inside? It looks like Brian was ready for that one and cut him off on the inside, so no dice there. It looks like Welton's starting to make some real pushes, so we might go back to Welton. And ooh, was that a little bit of a bump then? That looked like a bit of a push to pass, if you will. I heard it. I didn't see it, but he didn't pass, so I'm not. Yeah. At any rate, they're heading into the final turn here. This is easily the closest thing happening out there right now. I wonder if we're going to see another bump to pass. Right now, Welton, I think, maybe just settling into happily taking second. Let's take a look at Welton real fast. As Welton continues to pull some great laps here, and Campbell's just fast enough to keep Welton back. is they're both running great times. Like Campbell's not some sort of slouch here. That Red Bull car is going quick. But yeah, I think that's kind of just holding at half a second gap pretty much routinely. So let's go back to Dydick and see what they're doing as they head into turn 1 on lap 14. So this is the penultimate lap. Well, oh man, he got a little bit too into it there. Lost a little bit of time as the tail goes loose around turn 1. But if he's definitely quicker, he should be able to pull that gap back closed again. Ooh, Welton's actually gotten up very close. Very close. A little bit of contact. A little bit of bump and run. Well, a little bit of bump and fall back in this case. That was definitely a bit of strategy there. Did not work out, though. So as I go back to look for Dydick again, who's trying to pass Brian still. Also tried to bump and run earlier. Did not work for them, but we're definitely going to watch the fight for first through the last lap and see if anything changes about this. Welton has been putting some moves on, but is trying to be careful about it, it seems to me. They've already given Campbell a bump. And, pushing way too hard, trying to put some pressure on Campbell. Campbell coming off the inside corner and running into Welton, but Welton takes the position. That's going to be a hard one to determine if that was fair or not, if I'm honest. That looked to me like mostly it was Campbell losing grip under pressure and kind of trying to get back out on the track and smacking into Welton, but I wouldn't blame either of them for that. Feels like a racing incident to me. So here we are heading through turn 7. In the last lap, Welton has finally taken the lead from Campbell. And we're going to have to see if it stays that way. I'm assuming it is because it looks like Welton is pulling a gap now. So let's see, looking back over the rest of the field, it doesn't look like any of the others are going to be really pushed. So it looks like we're going to have Campbell coming in first place for Campbell. Well-deserved, well-fought race. Tricky passing, had to force a mistake out of Campbell here, who finishes second. And here we have Jonathan getting across in third, and Lowell taking a close fourth. Dydick, let's see if Dydick can do anything in this last little bit. Oh, it doesn't look like it. Dydick is going to finish in seventh for us. Very hard-fought race for Dydick. Had a couple of passes back there. Did a really good job. It's unfortunate this track is very tight, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm trying to not have a super strong opinion about it, but I have to admit there wasn't a lot of on-track action because it seemed like when faster cars got up behind cars that were not as quick, it was hard to find the place to pass. A lot of the passes that we had were mistakes or bump to pass. It was, I don't know, Dydick had a couple places he passed folks who were significantly slower, but for the most part, really close racing, but not really any passing, and to me that was a problem. Campbell held Welton up for most of the race, and the only reason that Welton got into first was because he forced Campbell into a mistake. So whether or not that is good for racing, kind of hard to say. But it was a fun race all the same.